Hi everyone, Janie here. Welcome back to my garden. It is another overcast, cold, wintry day here in Northern California, but dare I say, I might be getting used to it. It's like 45 degrees right now and I'm feeling okay, maybe because I'm moving around a little bit. But anyway, my plan was to come out here and to do some more winter cleanup. And it's just that time of year. That is the number one task, number one priority is just to do a lot of cleanup in the garden. And it's kind of nice because it's kind of like a restart. You know, you start cleaning things up and it starts looking really good. And it almost gets me kind of excited for the next season because you're taking out all the old stuff and there's more space for new stuff, of course. So the other day I came out and I worked on the long border and I'm really happy with how the long border looked. I cut back a lot of the annuals. I pulled some annuals. I pulled a ton of weeds and it was nice and fresh and clean. And I was really happy with how it looked. And then we actually have two gentlemen that come and help us out do a lot of the heavy lifting in the garden that I can't really do. And I don't want to put all on Jason. And they came this morning and they placed our rocks. We've been putting rocks all along the driveway as kind of like a border. And they've been placing the rocks, not putting them in their final resting place and not cleaning them up, just kind of doing the heavy lifting, which I completely appreciate. And this morning they placed all the rocks all along the long border and I just think it looks fantastic. I looked out the window as they were working and I was like so excited. I was like, oh, I got to go out there and I got to fix it and clean it up. So that's what I want to do today. Let me show you a closer look at the rocks. Now, the purpose of the rocks is to give our ugly driveway that needs to be replaced a border. And the reason why we're not actually replacing the driveway right now is because we have an acre of property and like, you know, I've told you guys this before, we have a priority list where we're kind of going through the priority list and deciding what we need to put our time, effort, and money on. And we've decided to put the driveway at the very, very end of the list. And that was based on recommendations from Michael Glassman, my landscape designer friend, because he had a good point. We are going to have big trucks and construction and all that kind of stuff happening. You know, we have to finish the backyard. We still have to finish the willow tree garden bed. There's a lot of stuff that we have to do and inside the house. So we're going to have big trucks driving all along our driveway. And so it's kind of silly to spend a bunch of money redoing the driveway now when we have other stuff to do. So the driveway is going to be very last priority on everything that we need to do, which I know it takes up a lot of space and I know that it's very visual, but functionally it makes sense to leave it to the very end. So in the meantime, the idea was to put this border of rocks all along the edge to kind of mask how uneven and how kind of old it is along the edges. And, you know, this isn't even completely done and it just looks 10,000 times better. So it's a very cheap, very easy, very quick fix if you have a very old driveway that's kind of cracking on the edges like mine is. So that was a great idea from Michael Glassman. And I just think it looks so good. So the other day when I was doing garden cleanup, I made it to just about right here to just about the Super Tunia Vista bubblegum. And I need to finish the rest of the long border, kind of cleaning it up. But you can see the guys spread out all the rocks even over there, which I think looks really good. We still have to do the center island, some parts of the center island, and you can see how much rock we have left. So I might have to get another delivery of rock. And then I still have my big 600-pound boulder right here that I have not decided, one, where I want to move it, or two, how to move it. So I'm going to have to figure that out. We have lots and lots of cleanup to do. I'm trying not to give you guys a whole tour. I just want to show you the rocks, but lots of cleanup. So ignore all of this, but you can see over here, we have more rock border all along the edge. And today I really want to rinse it off. I'm wearing my boots. I want to rinse it off. I want to clean it and I want to place it, right? Like get it set up exactly how I want it. Like for instance, this part over here, I think is a little too thick. I want to thin this out, move some more of those rocks over to that over by the gazebo and just kind of clean it up and make it look really nice and neat and done. I've showed you all this a couple times, but this is what the rock looks like all hosed off and cleaned off. And this is what it looks like all dirty. So you can kind of see the difference. And so my goal for today is to have all the rock look like that. Not that. So like I was saying, it's just that cleanup time of year. We've got lots of cleanup to do. Jason was putting up lights yesterday. It's Sunday right now, so he's watching football, so he will not be out here. He is busy. But you can see he's probably halfway done with the lights now. He got the front, and he still needs to do the back office and everything like that. So that's looking really nice and festive. But I also need to clean out the zigzag planter. It's been so cold. The zigzag planter, the annuals are done. My Super Tunia Tiara Pinks are done. My sweet potato vines are done. When Jason was putting up the lights, he also pulled down my hanging baskets, which was so sad, but it was time. And then he also pulled the pots that were underneath the hanging baskets, and I need to power wash this and clean it all up. So that is another thing I need to get done. My front porch looks beautiful. So we're just kind of in cleaning mode, which is how it is that time of year. So who knows how much I'll get done today, but my goal for today is definitely to make some progress on these rocks and get them looking good all around the driveway. I think today I'm going to pull a Jason and use his knee pads because I'm going to be getting up and down so much as I'm spreading out the rocks. So although they look silly, they're very practical. Okay, let's go. So when you look at the edge of my driveway, you can really see why this project kind of became a priority for me at this time. The asphalt is breaking down, it's crumbling on the edges, and until we replaced the whole thing, I really wanted something that looked intentional and helped contain the soil and the mulch. It has been spilling over so much, and I spend so much time using my blower, keeping it in place. I think these rocks are really going to make a huge difference. Michael's idea of this rock border, it was really the perfect solution for my garden at this time, in that it was relatively inexpensive, it was relatively easy, and it's something that I could do now that would make a big impact. Before the guys that help us out placed the rocks, they dug a shallow trench right along the edge of the driveway. Sometimes it's called a Victorian trench, and that little dip gives the rocks a place to sit down into, which will help them to keep from rolling into the driveway over time. It's such a simple thing, but it makes the border look so much more stable and so much more clean looking. We actually got really lucky because whoever poured the asphalt for the driveway used 2x6s all along the driveway, and they were rotted, and so all we had to do was pull out those 2x6s, and then there was our trench that the rocks could fall down into. Now what I was doing here was smoothing the rocks out into one layer and making sure they were secured into that trench. Now, trust me, I know it's not going to be foolproof. I'm sure I'm going to have a few rocks that are going to spill out here and there, but the improvement over the mulch and the soil spilling out into the driveway, in some places at least a foot or more, is going to be something I know I'm going to appreciate over my gardening season. So after placing the rocks, I used my hose with the HoseLink sprayer to spray off the residual soil from the rocks. At first I tried the shower setting on the nozzle, then the jet setting, but then I realized that taking the nozzle off with the quick connect gave me the best spray to get the dirt off. And it was really satisfying to see the dirt and dust rinse off and the true color of these river rocks come out. So let's talk about a hot gardening topic, and that is to use landscape fabric or not to use landscape fabric. And I just want to say, first off, I don't think that there is one right answer. Just like in olive gardening, we all are different gardeners. We all have different gardens, different landscapes, different soils. So you have to choose what's right for you. But I think it's important to know all of the factors. For me personally, I decided not to use landscape fabric underneath this rock border. I did actually use it underneath my dry creek bed that's in my center island. But when it came to the rock border, I felt like it was too narrow and I would be dealing with the edges of the landscape fabric popping up along and sticking out and having to deal with weeds growing from underneath the edges. So I just didn't want to deal with it. The trade-off from that, though, is that one, I am going to get more weeds around these rocks, which I completely understand. And two, which a lot of you watching my previous videos when I talked about this rock border made a good point. If you have really sandy or soft soil, sometimes rocks can sink into the soil and eventually they get covered by your soil completely. So what the landscape fabric can do is it actually can keep your rocks from sinking down into your soil. So that's something to think about as well. I decided not to use landscape fabric because, again, I've used landscape fabric in my garden previously, and I know what it's like when you're dealing with the cut edge, and I just didn't want to deal with that with the border. So I decided not to use landscape fabric here. I reserve the right to change my mind and to put it in at a later date, but for now, I felt like the cons outweighed the pros. I love projects like this that don't cost a lot of money, but make a huge visual impact. It's DIY friendly, it's functional, and it instantly gives the driveway a more finished look. Yes, there are more extreme measures that you can take that would probably look a little bit nicer, but for now, this was such a great solution. And I love showing you all watching solutions like this that you could basically go out and do this weekend and make a huge impact in your garden. While it's not a permanent fix for the driveway, it's a beautiful and practical way to make things look better while we plan for a big update with the driveway. And once the whole border wraps around the driveway and I'm done shaping it and cleaning it off, it's going to look so polished and it's going to look so good. I have so much respect for people who work with rocks on a daily basis or a regular basis. To me, they are the most tiring things to deal with, to pick up and to move and to replace, and it wears me out so much. So let me show you what I've got done so far. I've got the whole long border pretty much done. I've got them placed and rinsed off. I think I'll still kind of fuss with it a little bit and maybe add a little bit more, take a little bit more from here, as kind of time goes on. But you can see starting from over here, we just have this nice border of rocks. It's still drying, but a nice border of rocks kind of right up to the plants and around the plants. And then as the plants grow, the plants will grow over the rocks, but the rocks will still be there as the border. And so the compost and the mulch won't slide over into the driveway. It just makes it look a little bit neater, which I am really, really happy about. So I think it looks really good. Like, look how good this looks. I am so happy with this. And once we get like mulch in here, it's just going to look beautiful. So over here, it's looking really, really good. Just finishing off the whole area. We still need to work on this area over here. But like I said, I think I'm going to have to order another delivery of rocks. I am working out here today. I am so thankful to have a little bit of help with this. Oh my gosh, those guys, they must be so tired after working a day at our garden. I have to especially thank them. I haven't fixed this area yet, but I did work on over here, kind of just placed it and rinsed it off a little bit. I think it'll settle in a little bit more as time goes on, but I think it looks really good. And then I started in over on this side and I started kind of thinning out the rocks over here and shaping them a little bit better and lugging them over to here. That's literally as far as I got before I've decided I'm tired. So I still have more to do, but I think I got more than half done today. So I think that that's pretty good. And this guy has been bugging me all day to throw his ball all day. While working out here, I also just noticed that the birds have completely emptied the bird feeders. These birds have been going absolutely nuts over these bird feeders. I love it. There's so many birds in my garden now. So let me fill up these bird feeders real quick. All right, more bird seed in those two. This one I need to go rinse and clean and sanitize, but otherwise pretty good. I'm happy with what I got done today. Still have so much to do, but progress, not perfection, right? So I hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today.